Have you thought what it would be like if you could not find the words when you talk with someone? Or if you couldn't hear properly what the other one said? Or if your child's speech is so unclear that you can't understand it? These kinds of problems of speaking, hearing, and understanding arising from different communication disorders have an effect on everyday conversational interaction. My research focuses on how the participants manage problems using conversational repair practices. The research field of logopedics, or speech-language pathology, are all kinds of communication disorders. Common communication disorders include, but are not limited to, delayed language development that impairs a child's learning abilities, motor speech impairment that impairs the ability of a person to speak, or aphasia or dementia in an older adult. Communication disorders have traditionally been defined through their symptoms and causes. For example, aphasia, that Bruce Willis recently was said to have, is defined as a language disorder caused by brain damage. More recently, communication disorders have also been defined in terms of the consequences they have for functioning and participation in everyday life. Then the research question is how the people with aphasia or some other communication disorder manage their daily interactions with others. Human communication is cooperative in nature. When taking speaking turns, we tie our words to the words of others and try to understand what the other means, striving towards shared intersubjective understanding with each other. If we notice that our speech is not understandable to others, we clarify it, and if the recipients do not hear or understand what we say, they ask for clarification. These kinds of human social linguistic practices used for clarification are called repair organization. Speakers self-repair their own talk, and the recipients other initiate repair on the talk of others. Interaction between people has thus systematicity that can be analyzed turn by turn and sequentially. We can study the forms of communication, such as gestures, facial expressions, and speech, and see what practices enable successful interaction between people. This is basically the focus of the study in interactional logopedics. It involves the study of videotaped everyday interactions of people with communication disorders, using relevant techniques to annotate speech and multimodal action. Interactional research has shown that the effects of communication disorders are reflected in a variety of functional challenges that may limit an individual's opportunities for participation. On the other hand, when we study interaction, we have found that problems are not always present and that people can overcome their problems. For example, even though people have aphasia, they may be able to self-repair their language errors or find the words after a short pause. The participants in interaction may also collaborate in solving the problems in speaking and understanding. For example, the co-participant can provide the missing word based on the gesture the person with aphasia has used. The study of interaction thus shows us the ways how problems can be solved. Furthermore, these findings form the basis for designing interaction-focused interventions that aim to improve everyday life functioning and participation. In the modern world, interaction-focused intervention can take place, for example, in virtual reality that simulates real-life interactions in a controlled way, that can also be adjusted individually to a level that enables repeated practice. To conclude, considering the possibilities for participation, the perspective of interaction is essential. Based on interactional research, we can see how communication can proceed despite of disorders. Furthermore, if problems emerge, the communication disorder is not just a problem for one person, but involves all participants who may resolve the problems in collaboration.